Hello there, welcome to my channel. I'm Aaron Babs and I'm super duper excited to be your SQL guide today. SQL is all about managing and playing with data in databases. Whether you're a student, a pro, or just curious, learning SQL can open up a tons of doors for you. In this course I prepared, I'm going to do a little things a bit different, right? I'll be using ChatGPT, an awesome AI by the way, to make learning SQL a breezy. We will chat with it, ask questions, and get instant feedback as we learn along the way. By the end of this course, you'll be rocking SQL basics like a pro. Whether you are aiming for a data career or just want to expand your skills, you are in the right place. So, buckle up and let's dive into the world of SQL together. And before I forget, please don't forget to subscribe and hit on the bell so you can get my update on this course because I'm making this a series, right? So I'm going to use my SQL server, which is Management Studio. By the way, it's Microsoft, and I'm going to connect this. So for those who are not used to this studio, you can I think there's some there's a lot of videos that will guide you into installing this particular database. So we'll work with it as you follow me along the way. So as you can see, there is there's no database yet. I haven't created any database, so let's jump in. We'll go to database, we right click and create a new database. I'm going to name this database SQL tutorial right, equals to. So I'm going now to OK. Voila, as you can see, SQL tutorials has been created. So let's check inside and see what is there. We're going to talk about this later, but let's look at the table. As you can see, it's expanding. There's nothing in the table. So this is where now ChatGPT come into place. For those who don't hold a syntax in their head and they sort of know somehow how to move around, navigate through this SQL, ChatGPT is going to put you through. And for beginners, you follow up and you see how now you're going to work with ChatGPT. How ChatGPT, you're going to ask him questions and he's going to give you a response to what you want to do. But you need to tailor your questions to what you want to do. So far now, we have a database, but we need to create a table. So we're going to ask ChatGPT to create a table for us. But how are we going to do that? As I said earlier on in my introduction, we are going to just chat with it and give it instruction. So we're going to say create. Let me just use capital letters so we can see it clearly. A table. Name. Now we're going to name our table as employee info. We want to have where we can employee info. This is where we will have the names and the gender, the age of the employees. By now, width, we need to have a column now to know what we want to have in the table, right? So we have with a column header. Let's name our header first. We have employee ID, first name. Need to know the names of the worker, first name, and also we have to get their last name, and age, gender. Okay, so let's see what ChatGPT is going to give us. Oh, and I forgot, if you're using this for the first time, you need to give it an instruction. I'm going to show you later on. So now I'm going to copy this. You see, create table employee info _info. Employee ID is an integer, first name. So if you come down here, it's going to show you the SQL statement create a table employee info with 5 columns, right? 1 2 3 4 5. It's giving you the summary of your table, of your code, right? Employee ID and the type of integer, what's it called, and the type of your word, like if it's variable or integer, it's going to show you. So like employee ID, the type of integer, it's integer, first name and last name. The type of those ones are variable characters, so it's called varchar. The variable character. Strings with maximum length of 50. It explains why this 50 is there. Then the age, and the type is integer, which is numbers, and gender, the type is varchar, which is variable character as it states. So with 10, right, the 10 is to show you the length at which is going to have the length, the words that are going to be contained in the in gender. So I'm going to copy it, and I go back to my SQL, and then I can create a new table here, but I won't. I prefer to use but let me click on the SQL tutorials, then go to new query. So, and before I continue, if you can check here, it shows SQL tutorial, which is actually talking to my database. That's the content of what I'm going to put in it. So I'm going to paste my code, create table employee info. I can just remove the underscore, just give it info if you want to, right? But I also don't like to be working more with underscore a lot, but let me just leave it underscore so I won't distract you, because most of the thing we're going to be doing here is asking ChatGPT what we want, and it's going to give us the code for it. So you don't need to memorize any code. That's the aim of this tutorial. So I click on execute. It shows command completed. So now I'll go to my table, I'll refresh my database, go to my table, and you see, voila, it shows the table employee info. So let's take a look at the table, right? Select the top 5, and it shows employee ID, first name, last name, age, and gender, right, from this. So the next step we're going to do now is to put information on this, and to write this information can be a little bit daunting and sometimes really stressful. So we're going to ask ChatGPT to generate information, random samples, and then put it here, so you know how this works. Okay, so I'm going back to ChatGPT, and I'm going to ask him to insert information. Let me go with insert, let me go with cap lock so you can see it clearly in the instruction. Insert information into the employee info employee info table. We want to have informations here, so we're asking ChatGPT to put those information. So inside information, into the employee, into employee table, for let's say we want 30 employees in our company. 30 employees with, we have to now reference them with an ID. That's employee ID, ranging from 1 to 30. So it's going to give us a list of employee randomly, names and age and gender all together. So let's ask him, let's send a message and see what he's going to give us. This is interesting. Amazing. So it says this is the information it generates, and I'm going to do a little bit of something so with this data, so that once we start using the other options like the distinct count, like nulls, we're going to make this data a little bit realistic, because this is just what ChatGPT just generate for us. And I'm going to edit some few lines of code of information before I execute it. So I'm going to clean this, or I'm going to clear this because it has already created this header. Now I'm going to paste this information, and then in some places like 26 I'm going to put null, so it can make it a little bit realistic. Not all data sometimes comes in perfect. All right, null. I'm coming here to change this female to null also. Null. Delete this. Delete this. We'll just touch in some places and then put a null here. Null. At least let's have some missing data, right? Also there. Okay. Now I'm going to execute 30 role affected. So we go back to employee info and then check the top, select the top 1000 roles. You see it has brought in information that we need. It computed the information, as you can see. So where you see where I edited those nulls, they tend to show. So as we're going on the next syntax, as we're going further and further, you see why I did this, so it can make it more realistic and we can use some certain syntax to bring it out. All right, so now we've created a table of employee with the names. Now I'm going to create a second table because it's a relational database. We're going to create a second table with the salary, the date of employment, and what again, the job titles, because we just know this is just the information about the employee. We need to know what they are doing. And mind you, this is just, I'm targeting this for an employee and a company. You can have this as for grocery shops and other things, right? So this is just to show you how you can create the database using SQL. So I'm clearing this out and I'm creating the second table. Now I'm going back to ChatGPT, and then I'll go back to this instruction here. Instead of typing, I'll copy it and then I'll paste it here, and then I will change these headers from employee ID. I'm going to change from the names to job title, comma, we need to know the jobs, we need to know their salary, also salary, and we need to know the date of their employment, right? No gender here. And I think that's all. Create a table name employee salary now, not info again. I'm going to say salary with a column header employee ID. Okay, since I'm writing this now in small letters, let me continue. Employee ID. Let me clear this so it can give you clarity for those who are using ChatGPT for the first time. These tutorials for that is not a rocket science. It's simple, just as I'm doing. Create a table name employee salary with a column header employee ID, job title, salary, date of employment, and I'm going to ask ChatGPT to provide the code for us. See, it has created, right, with explaining what it meant, so you don't get confused. So with this SQL statement, create a table name employee salary with 4 columns. Employee ID, that's the type, the job title, as I've talked about earlier, varchar, which is variable character strings with a maximum length of 100 characters. Salary type is decimal, it has comma because the salary cannot be just 10,000. It has some fraction of numbers which are decimal, allowing for monetary values such as 10 digit with 2 decimal places, yes, and date of employment, which is date. So now I'm going to copy this, go to my database and create the second table. But as you can see here, it's just showing one table, right? If I click on this, it's going to show the columns. You see the columns, first name. So let me return this back, and then I'm going to execute by highlighting this and then execute, and then I'm going to refresh my database, and then I'll go back to tables, and as you can see, it has created employee salary, right? So I'm going to check from select top role. You see employee ID, job title, salary, and date of employment. Okay, so now, as we've done for the first time, for the first table, we're going to do it the same to the second table. We need to compute this information, so we'll go back to ChatGPT again for it to give us the value, a random value that we generated. So let me go back to ChatGPT and go back to the instruction I've written here, and then I'm going to copy this instead of typing all over again, and then I'll just edit the information. Inside information for 30 employees, now we are going for employee salary. Employee salary table. Salary table with ID, with employee ID ranging from 1 to 30. Should I make it like this? Oh, okay. Let me try this and see. Employee salary. Interesting. ChatGPT just was able to get the job title. Interesting. Good. Voila. With the explanation, this script insert roll into the employee salary table, providing values for the employee ID, title, job title, salary, and date of employment, as date employment. Columns for each employee. Adjust the value as needed for your specific data. So I'm going to edit some figures here and give it a bit of a realistic, or since this is your first time, I don't want to give you so much stress. We'll just go and use the information it gives, so you can you see, insert into employee salary. This is the code, the values I've written here, and I'm going to execute this so we can have informations down here. So I'm going to execute. It has been affected, and I'm going to check the top 1000 roll, and voila, that's given us the information to 30 with the salary, the job title, and the date of employment. Okay, so this is how to create a table. This is how to create a database using ChatGPT. So in the next video, we are going to go into select statement, where we'll check the top 5 distinct count, ask, that's as, maximum, minimum, and average, and then it follows, because this is a series of beginners course of SQL using ChatGPT. We are going to follow every steps on what you need to do when you have a data, and you don't need to cram all the code. ChatGPT is here for you. Just give him the instruction what you want the data to, what you want to do with the data. Is going to provide a code for you for your particular project. But in this course, we're just going to show you how you're going to manipulate this data with the help of ChatGPT and giving you instruction. So far, this is how you can just create your database, and this is just a random informations that ChatGPT decide to provide for us. But in a real life situation, you will want to get a real data, and then it's going to be a pain in your butt for you to type in all this information and this code. And I know some people will say, why do I need to use this? I can just use Excel. Yeah, you can use Excel, but we will talk more further on the difference between this and Excel. Okay, so see you in the next lesson, and I hope you really enjoy this course, as this is just the beginner and the first step. So see you next week. I'll see you in the next course, and goodbye.